purpose. No one can create your purpose for you. No one can tell you who to be. So in purpose, you have to create your own purpose. And in evolution, you have to evolve towards that purpose. It's easier to live when you have goals to meet. You understand? If you have goals to meet, then you don't feel so voided, and you understand why every day you're looking at this person in the mirror, because that is the cool part about the game. You get to be anybody you want to be.
All right, welcome. You guys are tuned into another episode of the Powerful Ownership Podcast. Anthony, I think we're getting a little bit of feedback on yours end, I believe. All right, let's get it rolling. Without further ado, we're going to get it rolling quick today. I'm going to go through my introduction, and my co-host is going to introduce themselves. Let's get it rolling. Yeah, my name is Brandon B. Dixon. My NMLS is 1541210. It's at Billionaire Loan Officer on all social media. Please follow me, like, subscribe as well. You can go to my website, www.applywithb.com, if you want to book me for a consultation or if you want to apply for a mortgage. Also, you can call me 832-753-5541. You can call me 24/7. As long as it's about business, I will answer. And www.brandonbdixon.com. Don't forget I'm a licensed realtor as well. So if you want to lease, you want to list, you want to talk about real estate investing, that's the channel. And last but not least, HoustonCondoSales.com is back as well. So if you're in the Houston area and you want a high rise, you want a condo, or if you want a townhouse, one of those fourplex townhouses that's taking over downtown, go to HoustonCondoSales.com. We have all of the best inventory that's curated for you. All right. And who's up next? Anthony.
I'll jump in there, guys. How's the audio?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I'm happy to be here again, guys. I'm Anthony, aka the Mortgage Prepper. And when I say prepper, we're not talking about prepper like survivalist, but more like a strategist, right? Someone that sees and understands the playing field before they step onto it. And what we do is we empower everyday people to secure their own legacies through prepared home ownership. We're super happy to be here, and we have a really, really good show for you guys.
Oh, so you want to unplug your socials?
Yeah. You guys can find me at the Mortgage Prepper on all socials. You can find me on the web online at the mortgageprepper.com, and you can reach out in any one of those avenues, and we'll get right back in touch with you.
Gotcha. All right, David, I got you. Well, you got your own.
I do. I made a new one real quick too, just for all of us here. Just I couldn't do that last week. We had all the banners filled up. So
right.
My name is David Youngs. I'm a licensed branch manager and mortgage advisor since 2005. It's my 21st year in business. My NMLS number is 328679. I am personally licensed in Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa, North Dakota, Arizona, Florida, Tennessee, but we also have nationwide options. Most of my handles you're going to find me online with is going to be Infinite Home Team. That is actually my website as well, infinitehometeam.com, or if you just type in my name, davidyoungs.com, 2 different websites. Lots of fun, cool resources on there. Learn more about me, my background, calculators, programs, all kinds of fun tools on there. If you do want to schedule a call with me, davidyoungscalendar.com will take you to my Calendly. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later too with the QR code at the top right. It'll also take you there. Lastly, with my contact info there, if you don't want to remember any of this, just go to .cards/David Youngs, and you can download all of my information in one shot right into your cell phone there. And for all 3 of us here, I thought it might be worth sharing this. All 3 of us are licensed professionals with Nexa Lending, which is the largest mortgage brokerage in the history of the country. We have over 300 lender options just in residential lending alone, not including commercial and business as well, which has hundreds more. Hundreds of programs within these lender options, and all of this at tier 1 wholesale interest rate pricing. So if you have any questions about mortgage related topics, please feel free to reach out to any one of us here, and we would love to have a conversation with you to explain more about how we can put the power of Nexa behind you as a homeowner or as a future homeowner or as a professional that wants to work with us.
Gotcha. All right, and so if this is your first time tuning into the Power of Ownership podcast, on this podcast we not only talk about ownership, obviously, but we talk about business ownership, and we encompass even the ownership of the mind, body, and soul. So we talk about owning the highs and owning the lows as well. So we cover all nuances of ownership here. So let's get it started. Again, I usually have a follow-up, a beginning question, but let's go ahead and jump right into the clips here. We are streaming a little bit later than normal, so let's go ahead and get it going. All right, so let me know when y'all can get the screen. I'll see the screen, excuse me.
Sounds good. Wait for it.
Your social media is for you, your dreams, and your self-expression, and it's meant to put something out in the world intentionally so that people who are looking for you and who need you can find you. That is what social media is for. It's the way that you do total immersion into who you're becoming. And when you can get clear, it's not for your ex-coworkers, it's not for your relatives, it's not for your family, it is not for your friends. I think most of my long-term friends do not follow me. I'm not putting it out there for anybody else but the people who find value in it. And when you can wrap that around your brain, it'll change your freaking life.
All right, so I just wanted to make sure y'all got the first part of it, because I kind of cut the first part off. So she was saying social media isn't for your friends, it's for the people that you're meant to serve. So that's one thing that changed since the beginning of social media back in the early 2000s. It was a social network, and just that is for your friends, impress ex-girlfriends and impress ex-classmates and stuff like that. It's changed now. Now this is not only a business that people are making millions of dollars off, but it's also the marketing for your business. It's the main component of marketing for your business now. So it's integrated with business now. So now it's about what audience am I trying to serve? So it's totally changed from where the nucleus of where it was from. Now it's evolved into something else. You guys want to comment on the clip and kind of go into it a little bit?
Do you want to maybe just hit the next question? Because I feel like that'd be the best way to approach it.
Right. Well, yeah, we could go ahead and get straight to it. Do you agree with that statement? Should creators start worried about what their friends and family think, or is there still value in creating content for the people who you already know?
Yeah, I'll jump in there. I'm actually fully on board with Mel on this one. Right. Here's the thing. My content isn't for, the people I grew up with, the people I went to school with, right? It's more for the person scrolling at 10:45, 11 p.m., wondering if they'll ever own a home, right? That's who I'm showing up for. Now, is there zero value in friends and family seeing it? Of course not. They're often your first believers. They're your first shares. But if you're building content around what will my cousin think, you've already lost the plot. It makes me think of Alex Hormozi. You know him, Hormozi, however you want to say it. He says almost the exact same thing. Authenticity sells specifically because you stop performing for the room you already know and start talking to the room you're trying to reach.
Right.
Good comment. Honestly, when years ago, when I remember the first time someone told me, and this is a long time ago, you really need to be posting more on social media. And I'm like, I don't want to bug my friends and family with all this content about mortgage and real estate. Like, I feel kind of cringy about that. I didn't want to post that stuff because in my head, I'm thinking, these are the people following me. Those are the people that are going to see it. And I want them to know, hey, we got to hang out with our friends here, our dogs here, like our family here. Like, I wanted that to be the content. But what I've started to realize, I think in more, the last couple of years here, especially as it's continued to evolve, and we're going to get into this topic deeper here, is the industry has changed. The entire algorithm has changed. The social media experience, the way people view this stuff is just different. I think everybody at this point pretty much knows of friends and family what I do for work. I mean, it'd be really hard not to know what I do for work. So, I mean, if I post something about business, real estate, mortgages, I would assume people wouldn't be shocked about what I posted and why. So I don't have to worry so much about that. But again, the content isn't for them anyway. I do that, right? Like, call me if you have a question. The content is for everybody that I don't know, the millions and millions of people across the country that I want to get in front of to help them provide education for them on how they can buy a home, how they can make this process easier, save money. This is the focus, which is why, again, as much as I appreciate if a friend and family member right now is watching this potentially, great, thank you. But that's not the audience. The target audience is somebody else. So I think she's spot on with this point.
Gotcha. All right, and let's go ahead to the next question. Has worrying about other people's opinions ever stopped you from posting something? If so, what changed? Or what advice would you give someone who's still holding back? Again, I want to talk about, kind of point this conversation into people that's still on the fence about social media. That's kind of still stuck in the old days, as far as and don't understand what this has become. They don't grasp the concept. So and I think even when we first talked, David, you was talking, I don't know about posting on my Facebook because a lot of my friends and stuff like that. Nah, that's exactly who you want. Because now, this is my opinion, and a lot of experts share the same opinion. There's personal and business; those lives are merging as technology gets more and more, interwoven with our lives. Especially if you're in business. Now, if you want to be private, I think there's plenty of W-2 where I could just clock in and clock out, and I could. But if you want to be the head of a business, which if you're a mortgage person, if you're a solopreneur, you're pretty much the face of the business. Those days you got personal life, but your personal life is your business. That's where it's going. People want to know, how do you think? What do you eat for dinner? What's enjoyable to you? What sports team do you like? And it's becoming even more and more compartmentalized. People want to be. I want to do business with other Wu-Tang Clan fans. So that's how it's become. It's so niche nowadays, and that's just is it right? Is it going to change? I doubt it. So you can either adapt or die. So back to the question. So have it ever stopped you before? If so, what's changed?
I want to say yes, absolutely. It has stopped me many, many times. I have overthought. If you don't know me, I overthink everything. So I have overthought every post every time. Should I post this or not? And in fact, what's crazy though is sometimes I'll show my wife, like I'll be like, hey, what do you think, honey, about this post here? If I were to put this out, and she's like, I wouldn't post that one. I might change that up a little bit and do it a little differently. And I'm like, okay, see, that's why I asked the question. Thank you. Like, because of I have a thing I'm going for, but maybe it doesn't quite align exactly with what I'm trying to go for in how it comes across. So I think there is a little bit of a balance there there are people that are too real. Maybe we've seen those posts of live videos where they're so real. It's like, oh, this person is just flat out offensive, or they're way in left field here, and it is nothing to do. I have no alignment with this person at all. I think there's a balance there.
Isn't that part of the brand? Even if isn't infamy, the base word is famous.
Sometimes yes. Like I think of one of our videos coming up isn't it Gary Vaynerchuk? He's one of our guys who we're going to watch tonight here. He is known for being a little bit brash, a little bit offensive, but he has good stuff. He's real, and it makes sense, and it hits home.
Right,
there's a difference between
these IRL guys that's showing everything, them brushing their teeth, them going to dinner.
Yeah, to me that's weird, but whatever. I mean, to each their own, right?
It's today. This is 2026, 2027. that's today. The IRL guys, that is a even Drake this week. Anthony and I talked about earlier. Drake this week launched his Kick, and it's probably the most viral thing. All of the whole thing is it got the internet. It's because he did Find My Wife. Like he did a what is it 20 versus 1? What did he do? A 3 versus 1?
Mhm.
He did some type of bachelor type of show.
Yeah.
On his live, and it went crazy. Every other post you see is about his Kick. That is today.
Wow.
So,
by the way, for anybody watching, IRL means in real life.
right.
Just hashtag for those that don't know, because there are probably a lot of people that don't know what IRL means. So
is it over analysis paralysis as far as worrying about what everybody think? And I mean, is it if you're yourself, what are you hiding?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think, for me personally, yes, I was worried about opinions and everything. It kind of prevented me from posting and sharing the things that made me human, right?
Mhm.
Because I didn't want to be the sob story guy or share things that may not really have a business lane per se. But then I realized that, that's exactly the stuff that creates the bridge that makes people trust you with the biggest financial decision they're going to make in their life, right? And my advice to anyone still kind of holding back is that's the stuff that you really want to lean into. Post the thing that you're scared about or you're worried about, and that's usually the thing that actually works when it comes down to it.
Right. I mean, people. Again, I think it started in the '90s with reality TV. And then I think the A-list stars had their turn. It was the art, and I think they still have a niche, which is Broadway, and but I think it's going to common folks. Like people want to see everyday regular people. It just is what it is. I mean, the advice I would give somebody holding back is stop. I mean, if you want to be successful in business, I don't see another way. Possibly you could do some analog stuff, but I don't think you could be global if you're not online, if you're not embracing social media. I think you could possibly win a local community, by word of mouth, but even that's going to be tough, because I was talking to somebody this weekend. I hope he's watching this. He's like, yeah, I'm going to go knock my whole subdivision. It's 2,400, and I'm going to get at least 100 people to answer. They're like, really? So in Texas heat, they're going to come outside and talk to you, and they got a Ring camera. I'm going to look on my phone like, what do you want, guy? Yeah, sorry, you can go ahead and leave the door tag. I'm not coming outside. As much of these weird videos they got going on, the cringe videos with the guys ringing the doorbell. I'm not somebody I don't know. I'm not coming. I'm 6'2". I'm not coming to the door. Somebody I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So if I do, I'm coming with the gun in hand. Like, all right, what's going on? All right, hey, I'm already suspicious. I'm on high alert.
Is that just because you're in Texas?
Well, Texas, they do have what is it? Cross the threshold law.
Yeah.
So yeah, Texas is different, but yeah, I'm just suspicious. Like, who you come into the door unannounced? What do you want? So it's like it's changed. Back in the day, there were door-to-door salesmen. That was a thing. Encyclopedia salesman, vacuum cleaner salesman. That's gone. It's changed. They used to have a phone book too. Used to have pagers. All it's gone. It's all changed.
I will just point out, as somebody that does this literally every single week, I will tell you, it has definitely changed. But you still find people. I mean, again, everything works. Nothing does. You do it enough. You do it the right way. It still works. It's just
for now. Let me ask you this: would you invest in a taxi company right now?
No, because it's changing. Absolutely.
Right. Would you invest in let's go ahead.
Popping up everywhere for some reason. I don't know.
Right. So let's go ahead and invest in a beeper company.
Mm-hmm.
How about let's go ahead and invest in like one of those plain billboard companies. Let's do that.
Right.
Same thing. So it's things that have changed. What about pigeons? Let's just wrap notes around pigeons. let them fly, and then hopefully they'll
I would
eventually get
love
to.
a pet pigeon. That would be amazing.
You know, so certain things just have become dinosaurs. You know, and people not going for it. I mean, can it work? Yeah, man. You might get one person, a crazy person. That I brought you a pigeon for your birthday, and this is your two-way pager right here.
I would name it Pidgey.
All right,
Pokemon.
Pidgey the pager.
No, from Pokemon. Pidgey.
I'm,
Yeah, you got
I'm
Pidgey,
before,
Pidgeotto, and Pidgeon. Is the
I'm before Pokemon, so I don't even know what you're talking about.
Anthony, did you get into Pokemon when you were a kid?
I did not, man. I'm old school, man.
Fair enough. All right, fine. I guess I'm alone on this
I
one.
went into it when I was younger, but
Wrong audience. Fine.
Right.
right now. But those of us who are in the industry who know what we're doing really are seeing this coming. So in the next 2 years, social media is all going to be about live streaming. Right now, we are in a transitional period. Content used to be about heavily curated pieces. Everything was set up, everybody using scripts. We are now in between that and live streaming. So what does that look like now, especially for business owners? That looks like filming as if the camera is a fly on the wall. It has to be authentic, it has to be in the moment, and it has to have value so that people can trust you and they feel like they just snuck into an extremely valuable conversation between experts. So where social media is headed, this is something that nobody is talking.
Right. So I think, and based on what the experts are saying as well, live streaming is going to be a norm.
Mhm.
I think with the Meta glasses we talked about earlier, Anthony and I think there's these ones that you wear around your neck like a medallion. There's GoPro, there's all of this stuff. There's cameras everywhere. It's going to be to where everybody has their own real life Truman Show.
Pretty much.
You know, and that's where it's going. And you know, and as a business owner, they're going to want to know not just what you offer, but in order for me to trust you, I want to know what team you like. I want to know, you know, or do you serve the community? Which is good because I said this on the earlier. If you look at Power of Ownership podcast 7 years ago, I talked about we need to be more responsible in how we spend our dollars and have the whys aligned with. And I want to spend my money with people that has the same values as me. And that's where it's going. The technology allows us to. Before you couldn't, you didn't know. Now I can. You know, and that's where it's going. So I can make my choices now, and the consumers are more educated. Before, and I'll make this last point, and then I'll go to the first question. Before, there was a stigma against used cars because there was used car salesmen because you didn't know all the facts. Then all of this technology came out, Carfax, internet, where, you know, Kelly Blue Book, boom, where you know what type of the customers became more educated and they make better decisions. You know, instead of gouging the customers, now there's there's thin margins in vehicles now because the consumer's educated. Car dealership adapt. Now they went to financing and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but they adapted. That's where we're at. Consumers are getting more educated. I want to know who's the CEO. I want to know what does he do. Is he anti my values? Then I won't do business with him. There's also other people that I could do, and it's easy at the snap of literally a tap of a button. I can do business with anybody. That's where it's going. It's not proximity driven anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? So to ask the first question, do you think she's right that live streaming is the future of social media, or will edited, highly produced content always have a place, and why?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's an and, not an or, right? So same energy as what Gary Vee will actually end up talking about later on in this clip tonight. Live streaming is where trust really gets built in real time. I mean, there's no cuts, no do-overs, and it's really the Mortgage Prepper brand in a nutshell for me, right? It allows people to access education that empowers them. But also, on another side of it, produced content still does have a job, right?
Yeah.
It's how you explain something more complicated once, cleanly, and so people aren't lost. Another name comes to mind, Russell Brunson. His whole playbook is built on this. Imperfect action gets on camera live but it still layers in the structured value pieces around it. You need both lanes, in my opinion.
Yeah. And I think that's like, as an example, I mean, there's a reason why YouTube does so well is if you're searching for like a how-to on anything, you want to learn something, you want to get training or education on something, that is a place you go to pull up step-by-step walk-through content. You're not just going to go scroll randomly through lives and hope somebody's going to talk about the thing you need. You're specifically searching for that thing of that content, and ideally you don't want to read it. I mean, you can just go online and just search it and read it, but it's way better if you have a video tutorial that says do it this way, or a back and forth explanation of something. So I think exactly what you said, Anthony, it's not an or, it's an and. Each one has its place, so having both is important. But I feel like so many people, which I think, Brandon, maybe this is why you created the question, so many people might think it's one or the other, and they feel like you have to pick. And because of that, it's one or the other. Getting out of that mind frame of we have to do lives like we're doing right now, imperfect, but we should really have some good content as well put out there to help provide education, especially if you're in a position like ours where you're in a licensed professional space where people are counting and relying on you for advice. This is something that having high quality content out there to search that's searchable is very, very helpful.
Well, this question is more geared toward people that think that it's just a fad. That this, live streaming is there, but it's not. It's one of those things that's it's one of those things. Nah, this is the thing that's coming about, and we're just on the first. Yeah, it's one of the very first beginning stages of evolution of it. So it's for those that only want I only got to do it polished, and I only got to do it this way, and that's kind of fading out because just like I said earlier, those Marlon Brando types and that the polish is going out. Now I do agree. Like, hey, there is a place for it. However, this is the normal psyche. So if I'm searching for something, I'm going to be specific. Yeah, I want to learn how to screw in a door. Look for instructional. Now the algorithm picks up, I'm looking for doors.
Yeah.
Everybody that's in the door business, boom. All right, well, this guy's funny. He's doing doors, but he's funny. Let me look at this guy.
Makes sense.
That's how it works. So that's how the mixture of that live content, that authentic, that being genuine, grabs the person.
Yeah. By the way, before you and I started talking, Brandon, honestly, I mean, I had never done this. I had never gone live. I had never done an imperfect video where we're talking naturally. It's just organic. There's no prep. It's just, there's a little bit of prep to the show, obviously, but I don't know what I'm saying until we're saying it. So This was it was a little nerve-wracking for me of this content's going out into the ether of who knows where and who's going to watch this thing. Like, I hope I say the right thing. So there's a little bit on me of like, I hope it's good. And
this is what this particular pod right now. I mean, not the podcast in general. This particular episode is for those that was on the fence. That was once David Young 6 months ago. That I don't know about this.
9 months ago.
9 months ago. Yeah. That like I don't know about this. I don't really understand it. But you're gonna have. This is what it's come to, and this is what it's gonna have to be. And like everybody's going live. I mean. Oprah's going live and she's already a billionaire. So, she's got her own network that's a YouTube channel now. It's on Netflix as well. So she's getting all these content creators as well. I'm setting up the next clip. Well, let me go into the next clip.
Can I just say one more thing? One thing that this has helped me with too, personally, is the ability to understand. When I used to do the video recordings, like me walking the dogs in the park and doing my videos, I probably recorded that same video 15 to 20 times every time until I got exactly the right timing and the pausing and the script to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm happy with it. Now I can post it. Thankfully, because of this show and other things like it, I've stepped away from that of, I might record it 2 or 3 times if I did completely forget my thought or mess up. Like, it's possible. But
Instead
in general,
half a keg of
and
beer, I get a 6-pack.
yeah. So
You
I just
know-
want to, for what it's worth, thank you for forcing me out of my comfort zone, Brandon, in doing this,
Right.
because it's made, even with the polished stuff, it's made it easier and made me better in just not overthinking it and just going with it. And I feel like it does come across a little bit more authentic.
Right. And people don't like scripted. You know, that's not what's popular right now, and that's not what's going to get you business. Also, just to say the last thing before I go into this is that you're gonna have to eventually get to where everything's off the cuff, because it's cost effective. You know, it's all right. Instead of me spending, don't forget that time is currency as well. So I spent 2-3 times, and each time that's 12 times I done recorded something, and that could have been 12 pieces of content that I could stretch off. So it's just the time, it's the output now.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like we don't have the time to really do it over and over and over again. You know, let me ask the question: if someone refuses to go live because they're afraid of being judged or making mistakes, are they putting their business at a disadvantage, or is live streaming being overhyped?
Overall, I think they're at a disadvantage. Though, remember too, your first few are going to suck. They're going to be bad. So like, just be ready. If you're trying to go live, if you're trying to do this organically, authentically, and you're not scripted and you're just going with it, you're probably not going to be that great. It's going to take you a hot minute to really learn this thing and do well with it and figure out what you're saying and understand how the algorithm works and what to repeat and how to handle where to click for the buttons, of how to manage the thing. Even like there's a learning curve to this, but the faster you get out of your own way and just do the thing, it's going to get easier as you go, and it's just going to automatically get better the more content you post.
Right. Anthony, you want to tackle that before we get to the next clip?
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right, David. Right. I think if you're scared to go live now, you're putting yourself at a real disadvantage. It's not hype, right? If you're too scared to go live because you might stumble over a sentence, or you know what you're doing is you're telling your audience you're not comfortable enough with your own expertise to go unscripted.
Yeah,
and people can smell that, right? I felt that fear before my first live, but what really flipped it for me was realizing nobody's watching for perfection.
Right.
They're literally there watching to see if you're real. And it's actually the stumbles and the outtakes that actually make it land, in my opinion.
Right. I was watching Drew Brees, who's the GOAT, by the way, my favorite quarterback, get it enshrined in the Hall of Fame this weekend, and he stumbled on words, and he has a teleprompter. Nobody cares. They took the meat of what they're saying and then goes from there. No, it's so much out there that you think only you know the difference. Nobody's gonna say, man, that guy David, I remember he was saying something online. He messed up sometime. He said sometimes, it was plural. He's supposed to say, I don't like this guy. You know, they're not gonna remember that. There's so much other stuff there, you know. So keep going. Just put it out there. I don't think
apparently my own photo, by the way, I apparently you can't tell the difference.
Right.
But the photo you keep making of me online, like I'm like, this doesn't look anything like me, and you're like, dude, I can't even tell. Like, you look the same, and I'm like, that is not me at all.
It's straight from your photos. It's straight from your photos. In fact,
I know.
It's crop.
I mean, it's a good example though of like you can't tell, no one else can tell, only I can tell that my photo's different.
Right. And then if you look at the photos that Scott used of me in the Creative Connect launch, he probably got that offline. That doesn't look anything like me, but that's one of the things I'm doing as well, is that the avatar, nobody really pays attention unless you're a real true fan. People kind of see the image you're going to see. Nobody's really looking. All right, well, David has really a freckle right here underneath. Nobody really cares. I'm not looking at you that hard. If I see, I'm looking at you. All right, you look kind of similar to what I was online. I'm more what value are you bringing than looking for the flaws. Those days are gone, you know. So, and I know it's counterintuitive for like you're kind of coming from that's your job. I want to look at all the all right, what's the typo? What's
Yeah. That's just the way my mind operates.
Right. Most people are not paying that much attention. They're looking for the highlights, not for what's wrong. Does that make sense?
100%.
You know, so let's get to this next clip here. Oh, let's see. Here we go.
Most creators do not even know that the ground is literally shifting under their feet. So let me break this down in a way that will actually make sense to you. Phase 1 of social media was like genuinely social. So this was news feed culture, horizontal videos, long form edits. You had to know how to film, how to cut, how to upload, all the things. The barrier to entry was real. We weren't here for viral content. We were here for our friends. Phase 2 was the vertical video exploded and everything changed from there. It was short, it was fast, it was loopable, trends took over, CapCut made everybody like an overnight editor, and the algorithm became the main character, not the creator themselves. And for a while, honestly, it worked. Copy-paste content completely ruled the internet. But now, phase 3 feels completely different. The attention economy is exhausted. Audiences are burnt out. People can smell recycled content from a mile away. And you are seeing a new class of creators rise, not because they're trendy, but because they are unforgettable. In this new era, you are going to need like one of 3 things: either a voice people trust, a perspective they've never heard before, or a creative approach that cannot be replicated. Pretty visuals are not enough anymore. Aesthetic alone cannot be your strategy. Nobody cares about perfect edits if the message is empty. Some people are calling this like the death of the influencer. And I don't think it's the end. I think it's like an evolution. We're moving to more depth towards creators who think, towards creators who teach, provoke, challenge, like they entertain, but they also transform instead of just like simply filling space on a feed. And maybe this is the beginning of like a quality renaissance. Maybe it's the pendulum swinging back from noise to creativity. Either way, one thing is abundantly clear. What people consider good online is shifting, and the creators who adapt to this first are going to win in this next era. And if you need some extra help with
Gotcha. I always pride myself on being on the cutting edge. I know I'm probably 6 years ahead of time, but eventually the game is going to get to where I see it going, which is I've been saying this is going to be the ones that have a unique perspectives, and the voices are going to, and it's personality driven. You know, anybody can sell mortgage. That's why I disagree. And I think, you know, Scott does it different than I would do it, you know, because it's basically recycled content. I'm just saying something. Well, what's the personality? What are you teaching? Who are you? What are you doing? That's where it's going. You're gonna know who Brandon B. Dixon is. You know what I stand for. You know what I do. You know my sense of humor. You got hours and hours of content on me, and I have a unique perspective on stuff. I sell ownership more than I sell mortgages. You only hear me talk about mortgages on TikTok. You know, because it's boring. You know, people want to get. It's one of those things that they have to do, not they're running. Oh, I want a mortgage. Yeah, let's get it over with. Let me get the best deal and then go on to the next. And they want to talk about something else. So it's not I don't get the mortgage. Mortgage. It's not enough, you know. So that's why to say to be the king of that hill, such a small hill, nobody cares about mortgages. It's one of those things that you have to do. Let's talk about the gastric bypass. Let's talk about that. You know, that's something that you might have to do. That's not something that you want to do. It's something. It's in that wheelhouse. Am I making sense?
Absolutely. I was going to say, I think you still need to get one of your puppies out and hold the puppy out while you're talking mortgage, and that'll really help.
Right. The only thing about that is I'm moving my hands so much. I'm checking emails with the left hand. Don't forget, I humor people a lot of times. I'm doing 3 or 4 things at the same time.
True.
So right. So I'm liking. I mean, not liking, but I'm waving hi at everybody that comes in the chat with the right hand, the left hand. I'm checking my emails.
I love it.
You know.
You want to hit the next question before we comment on it?
The thing is, I want to say this: the era of copying trends is ending. Original voices are becoming the competitive advantage. So the question I want to say is, do you agree that people are getting tired of copy and paste content, or will trends always outperform originality on social media?
Yeah. I mean, I think people are honestly, they're probably exhausted at this point, right? And I don't think it's even close. This is literally the biggest opportunity I see over the next year is raw, non-traditional content. I mean, let's remember that clip. She was coming to you in her bedroom, in her pajamas. Now, she had the full face beat down. She had the full face makeup on, obviously, but that simulated raw, non-traditional content, that's where things are going. For me, that's me, because as mortgage lenders, we know time management is everything, right? Brandon just talked about how we can't spend time making things perfect. We gotta keep moving. So for me, that means, hey, I've got to cook, I've got to eat, I've got to work out. When I got to go tend to my garden, I'm growing my herbs and some of my garden. I'm gonna be talking mortgages while I'm cooking, while I'm gardening, while I'm working out, taking my walks, right? And that's not really a gimmick. That's just me refusing to be just another, suit talking mortgage, rate, right? I think trends will always get you a short little spike in whatever algorithm, but originality is where you get remembered. And I think that's where it's going over the next couple of years, right?
Yeah. To be honest, I'm excited about this. Because literally the day that I saw people repurposing content and then getting tens of thousands of followers just because they reposted something or did the talking head thing where they're underneath, like pointing up, I'm like, this is so stupid. Like it's so ridiculous that you're literally getting followers because you're reposting someone else's original content. That's so, is it inauthentic? Unauthentic, right? Unauthentic. Yeah, it's so unauthentic. Be you. Post your own stuff. Let them go post their stuff. You post your stuff. Stop doing this. I'm going to feed off of somebody else and be a leech. The moment I saw this trend start happening, I was just irritated and it just kept going. And I'm just like, this is so terrible. So I am so happy and excited that we are moving back towards, hopefully everyone else is feeling the same as me, of like, I'm getting sick and tired of it. I'm kind of exhausted. I want to see some original stuff from the person that I actually like, trust, want to get to know and learn from, not something I saw 10 times from 10 other people that are just continuing to just repurpose the same thing. So yeah, I'm so beyond level 2 and ready for level 3 here.
I think it's a combination of both. I think talking heads and don't forget, let's put it down to let's break it down to the molecule. Sports commentators are repurposing content.
Good point.
They're talking about the game, and here's the highlight. This is what LeBron did. This is what Tyler Shuck did. This today. Look at how he threw it. That's all they're doing is commentary. And commentary has a place. They're going to take content, anything from battle rap to news clips and stuff like that. That is a form of content. Can
I qualify that again though? Sure. I'm not talking about there's a 10-second clip and then there's a 2-minute explanation of let's break this thing down. I'm talking about just you're literally repurposing and just doing this the entire time. It's that kind of stuff. I'm like,
that's what I get. That still has a place because people want to see certain people's reaction. Reaction clips are still a thing. Not saying that it is going completely away, but I think personality. Part of the personality is I want to see your facial expression. I want to see how he reacts to this. I want to see how he reacts to it. I want to see the slick comment that he says. I follow this guy Cove World. He plays the same clips as Super Ray and all the rest of all those big reaction guys, but I want to see what he says about it. I know because I know he's going to say something totally different. He's going to say something funny. Super Ray is going to probably make a rap to it, and and then he's going to say something funny as well. But I want it's two different, same clip, two different reactions.
Sure.
So I follow both of them because both of them going to be hilarious. So that has its place. But
Right.
however,
I definitely feel like it has to be a fine line. But like you said, you go to that guy for his personality, not his. Right. It's more like, hey, I want to see what he says. Yeah, you want to see his presentation of his own original personality in relation to that content.
Right. There's still authenticity tied into it, which is why even if there's very little, literally it's a facial expression, there's very little going on. Sometimes that extra little level of authenticity can help. But I'm really happy that we're moving towards that third level of let's go back to real and less whatever the algorithm likes today of this fun thing that we're trying for a trend.
Right. Yeah, regurgitated content.
Right. Well, that I think clipping is still going to be there as well. So that's how Andrew Tate blew up. It takes the same clip, and no matter who sees it is any way you can make money off of it. Mm-hmm. All right. So she says creators who win will have either a trusted voice, a unique perspective, or a style that can't be copied. If you had to pick one of those, which one matters most and why?
My choice would be the middle one, the unique perspective, something different. Here's the same thing everybody knows. I mean, a mortgage is a mortgage, right? Now, granted, nobody in the entire country has what we have, us three here at Nexa. Nobody. Our closest competitor has about half the options we have. That's how far apart we are. But even still, having the unique perspective, because people will trust anybody. I mean, if they think you know what you're talking about, they'll trust you. And maybe you did something really fun and cool and unique that is different, that's hard to copy for the algorithm of like, you're going to do the exact same clips and music and everything, however you're going to do it. Like maybe you got some really cool editing going on. But the unique perspective, something that's different that no one's heard before, I feel personally that is what I'm going for. That's my goal. Whenever I go live, whenever I post a video, I want it to be different than everybody else. I don't care what it sounds like, what it looks like. Hopefully you trust what I'm saying, but I want it to be different.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's a case to be made for all three of these perspectives, right? But for me, just because of the nature of our industry, I would say trusted voice, hands down, right? Because the perspective can be borrowed. I mean, a style can eventually be copied. I mean, AI is already doing that. They're copying styles now. You can input your style. They have a term called style guide. Everybody has a brand guide, style guide that you're plugging into these AIs. So that's not going to separate you anymore, right? But the trust that you earn, one honest answer at a time, nobody can fast track that, right? That's where we still have ownership in our entire brand. And that's power of this podcast, right? The multi-dimensional founder idea is basically just people don't buy from a logo anymore, right? They're buying from a person whose values that they've watched hold up over time. So I definitely think there's a case to be made. Like I think the perspective, the unique perspective, the uncopyable style potential would be something you would want to kind of, I guess, meld together. But, in our business, you've got to be trusted. If you're not trusted, it don't matter how unique your perspective is. Doesn't matter how cool and quirky your style is. No one trusts you. They're not going to listen to anything you say.
Yeah, right. I want to say, the same thing as far as a trusted voice, because a unique perspective, everybody's going to hop on it if they see it, working. I give you an example like Myron Gaines is controversial. Now there's a dozens of Myron Gaines out there now, and then you can make your style hard to be copied, but that's the number one thing is like people try to copy. I see people trying to, I see even insurance agents trying to post like me and stuff like now. It's like they will try to copy. Now I give you like Andrew Tate, he'll make it hard to copy. It's hard to fake like the Fleet of McLarens and the Bugattis and stuff like that. But even guys with money, what's the other guy, that bodybuilder guy name that came out, that got out of jail and stuff, he is trying to be like Tate with the Bugatti and stuff like that. So it's hard, even if you make it hard to copy, people still will try to copy you. It's 2026. So
and real quick, Brandon, not to interrupt you. We all have a social media profile follower list full of loan officers that, what do you think they're doing?
Right.
They're watching
this
unique perspective, and then next thing you know, they got a video the same way coming out, right?
Right.
So, I hear you.
Yeah.
So
I'm also thinking too, though. They're one of the. I'm trying to see where the book is, but one of these books up here is Disrupt or Die. And in my head, like that's one of the things I'm always thinking of is like, how do I disrupt the industry, disrupt the natural thought progression? Everybody out there talking about like, here's how your credit works, and here's how your down payment works, and here, like, how do I disrupt that though, and come up with something totally different that's more controversial, maybe that sparks something that gets people to engage, and then can come at this from a different light, which again can be copied. One of the nice things I think about our industry though is you do actually need a license to talk about some of the things we talk about. So that automatically should give us a little bit of a trusted voice with that, because even in the mortgage profession, not everybody is licensed. Not everybody actually has the ability to talk about everything. So
I still think you're sleeping on your greatest strength. And I tell people this all the time. A lot of people are scared. There's the real you, and then there's the person that you pretend to be online. I think the closest that you merge those two together, that's when you're going to take off. I think your greatest strength is what you showed on the video, and then I only knew it. I've been knowing you for months, until I watched that video.
But I got to be very careful with that one, because that is exactly something I do not talk about online ever, and I never will, on principle, because it's not the way to do it.
Streaming. I'm not talking about every aspect, but just, hey, I'm working out with my wife. We're walking the dogs. I'm playing video games with my wife. I'm going to Comic-Con with my wife. Just that is gold.
Yeah.
Online. That's what I would be showing.
And that's
you're not specifically talking about the Bible instructing that I do.
No. I'm talking about just a guy that married his high school sweetheart or whatever.
Yeah.
That's gold right there. That's what people want to see, because either they're trying to be that or they want to see what's going on. That's what I would be showing.
Fair enough. And see, this is why, Brandon, we've talked about this before we jumped on this show with our new Creator Connect program, by the way, for any mortgage professional out there that's watching that wants to join the Creator Connect program, why Brandon is one of our coaches / is going to be one of our coaches, whatever you are, Brandon. You are a coach either way, willing to help others. So reach out and DM Brandon if you want more information about how you can take your social media to the next level and get his perspective on your stuff. Because I can speak from experience. He will not sugarcoat it. He will tell it to you straight and be like, David, you're an idiot. You need to do this exact thing here. And then it'll take me a hot second to listen, and I'll be like, okay, yeah, you're right. I need to do that.
It costs you nothing to be yourself.
Yes.
It actually going to cost you more to hire from yourself, because it's all the money that you're missing out.
Yeah, I like the comment you made, Brandon, about they want to see the real you, not the person you pretend to be online.
Right.
And by default, David, the real you is unique. Right. No matter what. You can't
Nobody can be David Youngs.
I've always been told that I'm special.
Yeah.
Right. But what do you show? You do show you're behind the scenes as far that needs to be up front. I didn't know until I watched the video.
Yeah,
we've been going live. Something told me, like, man, let me watch this video, because at first it just looks like you in a suit again. And I looked at a couple of videos earlier. It's probably like, nah, I'm not watching that anymore. So it didn't seem interesting. Like, I don't want to see more polished stuff. So But
Yeah.
in the
By the way, I got
kind
a
of win it.
videographer that did that for me. Anybody watching,
Right.
he's talking about if you go to infinitehometeam.com, there's 2 videos, which you can also find on my YouTube channel, that are me and my wife and just my background and how I got started and all that good stuff. So that's what he's talking about. And apparently, Brandon, for the first time in what, a year and a half, 2 years we've known each other.
No, but
finally watched
I've
them.
known you, but I didn't know you until I started talking to you about 9 months ago.
Fair enough.
Because nobody pays attention. I've
That's
seen
true.
it.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, so you didn't come on my radar until like 9 months ago,
I
right?
appreciate the compliment. Thank you.
Right. So, but again, it doesn't like as far as the face card. Not saying anything to get your face. I'm talking about this on. All right, mortgage guy. All right, nothing. But all right, all right. They play video games. They into Superman, Batman. All right,
Yeah.
Tell me
That-
more.
In the background, playing Destiny, by the way, but they just stopped supporting.
Destiny.
Right. So all right, Huskies. All right. You know,
Yeah.
tell me
Anthony,
more.
do you play Destiny? Do you know that game?
I used to play Destiny. It was an unhealthy amount of Destiny.
Yeah. There's the largest petition ever for a video game in history right now going around. They're up to almost 500,000 petition signatures on keeping Destiny going because they just stopped supporting it. They gave everybody everything and said, "Good luck, keep going. We're done."
wow.
Wait, it's supported, like it's going to be done, but we're not going to add new content. And now the entire industry is up in an uproar of like, we need Destiny 3 or keep going, and it's coming back. It's making a
Dude,
resurgence.
I can't believe they would ever give up on that. I haven't played in years, but there was a time that come Friday, and if I didn't, I would park myself in front of the computer,
Yep.
play, order pizza, go do some work, come back to play.
Yep.
I had to stop because I felt like it's a full-time job. If you're not playing full-time, you're
Well,
not really progressing.
If you ever come back, join my clan, which is like 4 people. But join my family, join my clan, and let's go play together. And anybody watching, if you want to play Destiny with me, please come on in. Let's hang out and play this game together. So
See, Brandon,
there we go.
now we're learning, man. We're learning.
Yeah, y'all talking Greek to me. I'm not a gamer.
Yeah,
Let's get
Brandon
to the
doesn't
next-
play video games, but
Yeah. Let's get to the. I hadn't held a joystick in probably like in 30 years.
well,
Let's get to the
Brandon,
next-
you don't need a joystick to play it. You need a PlayStation controller. Is what you
Okay,
need.
guys. See, that's how old school I am.
What is that? Atari?
Atari,
Yeah,
man.
Atari.
5200, 2600. That's my speed right there. All right, let's get to this next clip.
They're bringing back Legend of Zelda for Nintendo. That's cool.
Yeah.
Replacing it right now are about to have an enormous advantage. Here's what I'm tracking as a futurist. The old model of social media was broadcast. You made content, you built a following, the platform showed it to your followers. And that model is already cracking. Instagram shows my posts to people who have never heard of me as my biggest component of reach. So more people see my posts now who aren't following me than who are. And here's what I want to say out loud that not many people are saying out loud. A huge percentage of the engagement on platforms right now is already not human. Bots, agents, AI accounts. By 2028, you won't know if the 14 million views on your reel are real people or machines. So where does attention actually go? It fragments into smaller, trusted spaces, private communities, voice-first platforms as well, interest-based micro networks where humans verify each other. The scroll era ends, the trust era begins. And of course, trust has always been important, but now even more so. The creators who win the next 3 years are the ones building something real that humans will still seek out in a much more synthetic world. In 3 years, social media as we know it won't exist.
Just wanted to make
Can
sure
I-
y'all hear the beginning.
Yeah. Can I ask a question real quick before we go to the question, the actual question?
Mhm.
Am I wrong in this understanding? I think, because Brandon, you probably know better than me. Didn't it used to be though, before TikTok was even a thing, back on Facebook and then Instagram after, wasn't it pretty much if you posted something, it would usually show first and foremost, like she said, only to your friends and family, your followers, people closest to you, it rarely would go beyond that. Like the algorithm might test one or two extra people or, here and there, but it really didn't go to others. It went to only those connected to you, which ties into that first video of the thought process of, well, I don't want to post because my friends and family might see this. And that's all they're. So like, I feel like they're kind of connected. Am I wrong on this? That's how it used to work?
In the very beginning stages, they still had an algorithm that you would find. It was about who had the most likes and the most engagement, and they would boost those up, and then those will be more discoverable. They had a thing called net neutrality that changed in 2016 during Trump's first administration. Everything was neutral. So a guy could come in and, if you got enough engagement, starting with your family and friends, the algorithm will boost it. Then other people start seeing it, and then it keep going from there. And then more followers you got, the more people it kept going. So they ended net neutrality in 2016, right? Trump, not Trump did it because he's the president, but it was during his years that they ended.
Yeah.
That
which is almost 10 years from when Facebook launched to there. Right. Of how the algorithm had worked up to that point, right?
Right. So just to finish the thought is that when it changed now, it changed the way the pay wheel, the pay wall, how Meta start now. I could charge people for if you want to get visibility. So now it was pay for play. So now only a fraction. Let's say I have 1,000 followers, only 100 will actually see my post. Before it would be on everybody's feed, that my whole 1,000 followers. So now you have to pay for play. So now it's changed as well. Now it's pay for play. Now as the algorithm has changed because of TikTok. That's why they were trying to prevent TikTok from coming, because there was a lot of money that's going to be lost, right? So now Meta had to get more. They had to copy TikTok's algorithm, which was purely about the interest with it, and but everybody was on it, and they were trying to stop it. I don't know if you remember that. That was during the Biden year.
Yep.
So like they couldn't stop it. They were trying to sell it. They were saying, "Oh, it's dangerous for kids and all this stuff." Yeah. They were trying to stop it. So
they couldn't stop it. Didn't that just happen again a year or two ago, where they tried banning it again?
I don't know about that, but this the complete.
I saw something about it. I mean, like I feel like it's a constant thing of like they're always trying to these powerhouses trying to fight against each other of like creating rules to prevent the other from being successful.
It's the disruptor, right? You have a new disruptor coming in, and then you got someone like, what's his name? Facebook guy, right? He's got a lot of weight to throw around. So I guarantee, allegedly, I'm saying that there's probably a lot of Meta behind. Hey, let's look at TikTok, right? Because they're disrupting the entire platform.
Right. Just to land the plane on what I was saying is that now it's shifted back. So just recently, as of this year, Facebook updated. Now it has the same algorithm as TikTok. So now it's all interest based. So if you look at Meta, which is Instagram and Facebook now, there's people that I don't even know that I'm liking and reposting. I don't even follow, but it's because of similar interests, what I've liked before. That's what it's based on now. So the algorithm is going. Now it's shifted again. So it's about, that's why I do my AI content, because it's about that subject at that time. And I could get to several people. Most of the people don't follow me that's seeing this content.
Yep.
So the thing is, I get on a live. Hey, I seen the roller skating one. I like that one. I don't know who you are, but they come to the live because you seen that one. It was you're into roller skating. It caught you. Are you interested in Bigfoot? You like monster trucks. But I sell mortgages. Now you know who I am. So that's how I'm using these as feelers.
Yeah.
So, and we'll talk about that later on the show. Is like I'm doing an own you skit this week. Kevin O'Leary, and I didn't put this in this particular clip, but Kevin O'Leary is saying the cost effectiveness of AI. Everybody's talking about crap about AI. We don't like that AI video.
Mm-hmm.
Know how much that would cost back in the days for me to shoot that?
Yeah.
Get it edited and do it, get the lighting just right. And like David, you said, I gotta get it I'm gonna shoot it 15 times, just get you know how much that would cost, how much time that would be? When it takes me literally 5 minutes to from start to finish to do an AI clip. and it's already posted and it's going to grab as much as attention, you don't have to like it anymore. The algorithm's going to pick it up because it's in your interest and you're going to see it.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
There's a lot. Full disclosure, there is a lot of pushback against AI, of course, in the world. I was shocked.
Adapt or die.
Yeah. I mean, but I was shocked by. I put an ad out on Meta that, like, I put a post out and then I boosted the post on Meta of trying to help people learn about a really, really helpful AI tech that would allow you to just. What if you didn't have to pick and figure it out? What if you just had one AI tech? It's called Magica, by the way. You just log in and you type in what you want, and it goes out and figures out of the 6,000 AI technologies out there, which one's the best one. And I'm like, this has been super helpful for me. I put it out there. I had like literally 200 hate comments immediately come in about how AI is destroying the world, and because the algorithm grabbed onto it and just ran with it. And I was just shocked. I'm like, literally, this is so helpful.
Well, you got to learn how to manage the algorithm. Now, don't you know that now that your next post is going to be in their algorithm, because now it picked up that I commented on David Young's, so I like what David Young says. So my next post is going to be in your feed. So I would make that right about mortgages. Boom. So now you see, all right. Now I see.
Good point.
Right. So you got to learn.
And then that's another piece of content you can now create.
Right.
That's true. That's true.
Right.
You know what's funny is I did.
There is no such thing as bad content.
We're not sponsored by whatever the AI thing.
Yep,
was.
exactly.
Look at all these hate comments. You know, so do you agree with AI or do you not?
Thank you for reminding me of that, because I need to do exactly that. I need to go put a post out and boost that completely unrelated to AI technology and run with it with mortgages, because there's my 10,000 viewers right there on that one thing that everybody got heated up about. Bam.
Right.
There's something helpful in the mortgage space.
There's people that do this on purpose. You know, so just to get the it's like pulling back a rubber band, just to get that momentum, and then they let it go. The further you pull back that rubber band, the more it's going to go forward. Well, let's read the comment. The question. If somebody is still saying I'm just going to wait until I figure social media out, are they already falling behind, or there's still plenty of time to catch up?
I would say they're already behind. You know, and I think the gap's kind of like compounding while they wait. That clip about the broadcast model cracking is real, right? The platforms aren't built to wait for you to feel like you're ready anymore. You know, the good news is behind isn't the same thing as out. I didn't start posting real content till probably the last couple of weeks, to be honest with you. But the cost of waiting isn't that you missed the window. It's just that every day you wait, the bar for what counts as good enough to start keeps climbing in your own head, right? So it's just compounding. It forces you to keep waiting and waiting. It's not too late. You just got to get into it. It just makes it harder for you to get into it the more you wait.
Right. And what you thought was good yesterday is not good today. It's constantly evolving. So what are you waiting for? You're never going to be perfect. It's just a matter of hopping in and figuring out. And then you never know what you might miss. You know, but again, everything works and nothing doesn't. Nothing does not work.
Yeah.
You know, that's the flip side of it. You know, so I'm going to just do nothing, and then, nothing for nothing leaves nothing.
Mm-hmm. Well, they say the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago.
Right.
And the second best time is today. So
right.
You might be behind. If you actually have never posted at all, you've never built a following, you don't even have a social media profile yet, like on some of these platforms, you're definitely behind. But just create it. Post something, anything. Even if you got to click the repost button and do that regurgitated content just to get something out there. I mean, like literally just start and that's it. And then go. Because I love that you said that, Anthony, is you build it up in your mind, that the longer you keep waiting, you just keep building it up in your mind. And eventually, when is the right time? Well, never.
And it's already changed by now. You know,
yeah,
so
already changed.
I give you an example. Like I said, if you're talking about, I'm gonna get X amount of followers. Followers don't matter. You can have 1,000 followers nowadays. As long as you got 1,000 loyal followers. Let's get to this next. If someone told you I don't need social media to grow my business, would you agree with them, or do you think that's becoming a dangerous mindset? And why?
I think this used to be the case where social media was more of an add-on at one point. I mean, we're talking years back. Like
right.
It
like
was.
20 years back. Yeah.
It was. What I'm talking about is. I'm in the
15
mortgage.
years for sure.
But not that long ago. No, not that long ago. I'm a mortgage advisor, and I'm talking to somebody about whatever thing, like a lead generation thing, a realtor referred client, whatever it is. One of the first things that client's going to do though is go look you up online and see who is David Youngs, Anthony, Brandon, like who are these guys, and they're going to look you up. So it was more for me. It was more about brand awareness. If you look me up, will I show up on the top 10 results of Google where you're going to see there's my website, there's my TikTok, there's my Facebook, there's my Instagram, like there's everything there. It was more brand awareness for me was my focus. Do I show up? As long as I got something on there and they're all cross-linked together for the SEO purposes and all that was the main thing. But now, with the way the algorithms have shifted, the way it's changed with TikTok and all these other live platforms, people going live, like we've talked about, now it's different. It's not just about brand awareness. It's part of it still. It's part of the SEO. But people are actually going to these places and finding people on these platforms in their decision of who they're going to work with. So it's different than it used to be in the past. And I can't quantify what year that would have changed. I don't think there really was an exact year. I'm just saying in years past, I was more concerned about SEO, search engine optimization of am I showing up on the top 10?
Well,
less about content.
Even search engine optimization, it works about who actually is sharing your content and actually the backlinks, or who's writing about your content. So, it goes, so just having it is cool, but it doesn't really work well unless people are putting it on their platform, and cross marketing. That's how SEO works. So
being honest though, I mean, like I never had one closing on a home, not one from social media, from anything I posted.
But have you done it right? That's
my point. That's my point.
Analyze have you ever done social media right besides the podcast, and you still had to capitalize on the hours of footage you have a podcast? That's
my point. That's exactly you're saying exactly what I'm saying. When it comes to social media, I was focused on incorrectly. I was focused on I just want to show up on Google because that's not where my business comes from. It comes from referrals and past clients and friends and family and other places like this. That's just there.
How long is that scalable? Unless you have a system for that, that's not going to be scalable because you're going to eventually run out of your sphere of influence. Unless you know how you have a system in order to grow that sphere of influence. The second thing is that as you're talking about SEO, SEO only works if they're looking for you already. If that's the case, it defeats the point. I already know who you are, but when I go to look you up, there's nothing there. So it's like there's no substance. David, I don't know.
But I think that's the mindset shift that so many people have in business is my business comes from referral. I'm a referral-based person. It comes through referral, and I don't really need social media. That's just an extra thing over there that I hear is supposed to be good. That's kind of how I used to think. But in the last year or so, I've really changed my tune on this and watching some of our colleagues like yourself, Brandon, where you'll go live on TikTok and have 2, 3, 5 people apply with you after the TikTok, right?
Well, that's where it's going. I mean, my business primarily is referrals, but it's referrals of people who find me and like me and trust me.
Exactly.
So it's a combination of both. It's not just I'm starting organic and trying to mine those people and trying to make more referrals from that referral base. That's a strategy. However, I think that strategy is going to get it's going to become old school, the dinosaur, the phone book, the pager, because what's going to stop you in dead tracks is that when I do have that system to mine those referrals, again, they're going to look you up. And when they look you up and nothing's there, it's a red flag. It means scam nowadays, or it means, all right, nobody's doing business with them. Which, all right, I hear you, but I don't. Who is David? I looked him up and there's nothing there.
I'm still going to argue. Surprisingly, I will go look up professionals because I'm also heavy into recruiting on our side of things. So I look up professionals and I'm just shocked. Like, I can't find you anywhere.
Right.
I just had literally a guy that like runs a mortgage company.
Right, but that's the executive. That's the exact. This is the difference. Infinity Team, you're the face. Mortgage Prepper, you're the face. The HOC, I'm the face. If I'm the face, then I have to be intertwined with social media. If I'm already part of a corporation and the corporation is the brand and I'm just a middle management guy, I don't have to market. That's a W-2 and job. Yes. That's not the same thing. We're W-2 some of us, but we're mostly 1099. You're an independent contractor, or this is your business in a box. There's a difference between that and what they do. If you want that, if you want to be where I don't have to be intertwined, go get a W-2. There's plenty of people that, if you look at those high-level executives, they don't, because they're not in marketing.
Right. But
they're not in marketing. We don't have a marketing division.
Talking to people, small or big, in production, it's amazing to me how many don't show up at all because they've never even created the profile for social media.
They don't have to. That's difference. The difference
is
we are the business.
I'm saying producing loan originators, more you, me and Anthony, all of us. Like, I'll look you up and you don't exist online. That's what I find crazy still exists in today's day and age. Like, how are you not on these places? You know what I mean?
They're dinosaurs.
I'll jump in here real quick because it's funny because I came up in the business and there were a lot of old veterans in the game that kind of brought me along and taught me the ropes. And they always said, "Hey, I'm 60 years old. I'm 55. I'm not getting on this TikTok social media stuff.
Right.
My business is just fine." And they were right. For many years, it served them. They had a system, and a lot of them didn't even really have good systems. But once you build your business to a certain point, you've been in business for 20 years, you don't have to have the best system to still do well, right? But what I noticed was that about 7 years ago, I'll say, things started to switch. I watched it in real time because I was one of those guys that, I'm a private person. I like social media to go watch. I was a professional lurker, right? I'm not sharing anything with anybody, right? I was a very private person, but I started to notice that people, every now and then, a client would call and say, "Hey, I was trying to look you up online," and they told me that they'd looked me up online. Luckily, I had what you had, David, was just the bare minimum to say I was there. My Google My Business, my website, I was good. There wasn't any content. But what I found out was that's where they were getting sniped by the people that did have content.
Yep.
Right? Because they get in there and they start looking. The algorithm says, "Gotcha. You're looking for houses. You're looking for mortgages. Now let's feed the people that are making content." And all of a sudden, they're no longer looking at Anthony. They're looking at Scott Bentley because he's got, hours and hours of content. And that's how you were eroding your own.
Right. And that's how it's happening to people. So yes, I agree. Those people that's entrenched in 20 years, they're going to start fading out because there's sad to say there's more and more funerals every day. So the older boomers are dying out, and the way they did things are dying out. So now the Gen X, that my generation is starting to take lead. We're the old timers now, and we're half of us are on social media, so. And then below us is the millennials. You guys are millennials and stuff like that. All of them are on social media. Gen X and Gen X on down, Gen Z especially. They grew up on the phone. So now, all right, after these boomers get out of the market, who's my next prospect? Who's buying houses right now is Gen Zers
Right.
and millennials.
To be fair, I think Anthony and I both are like borderline.
Yeah, we're borderline. And
X.
I don't like being called an old timer. By the way, Brandon, I'm not quite there yet. But
Well, you're not Gen X, right?
Mm, yeah.
You're a millennial, right? You're 80
Yeah.
on up, right?
Yeah, Anthony, can I? Oh wait, we lost. Hold on. Yeah, there you go. Anthony, remind me how old are you again? Do you mind if I ask that?
I will be 44, I think, this year in October.
Okay, you are old. I'll be 40 in a few days here, so I'm the baby of you guys. Okay.
Right. So you're millennials. So let's get this next clip out of the way here. Well, I think it's a dangerous mind state because those people are dying out that Anthony referred to.
You decided to follow. All my followers that I've amassed for 15 years are becoming less important. People that are watching right now that have never posted, if they post a remarkably good piece of content, that piece of content now has the ability to get more views than something I post, and I'm one of the most followed people on LinkedIn in the world. I actually believe the word social media might have to get tweaked. I believe we are now in the interest media era. Not social media, but interest media. Meaning social was inherently like, who is your social network? Who are your friends? We are now in an era where what are you interested is coming to you from the algorithm. That is profound. I would say that social media as we knew it is no longer here.
Right. So followers are becoming less and less important. Value and adaptability are becoming more important. So what's happening in 2026 is that what we explained earlier, that the algorithm is similar to TikTok now, where it's interest based. So you don't have to have 1,000 likes. I don't have to have a bunch of comments, which it's still good. It still pumps the algorithm. However, some of my videos don't have no likes, but I look at it got thousands of views. So if somebody's watching it, I don't care who likes it. So it's just a matter of it's out there. And if you're looking for any one of the feelers I put out, I want the algorithm to catch it. And it's working because everywhere I go, you see me. Everybody that I touch that's in my Facebook group or Instagram, and if they watch it, it's now in the algorithm. So it's all these hooks that I'm getting to catch people. So that's the thing, it's all about the interest. Let me ask the question here. If this is true, are people spending too much time trying to build followers instead of building valuable content?
I think so. I think it's a massive truth, right? And it just isn't a vibe. Like, there's actual data on this now. I was looking at this up earlier today. Over half of Instagram's Reels reach is going to be people who don't even follow your account. I mean, Gary Vee just said it himself, right? Success isn't really measured by follow count anymore, right? It's measured by whether an individual piece of content actually resonates. Chasing followers is now kind of like chasing a vanity number.
Right.
The algorithm doesn't care about it anymore.
Right. Yep. It's all about that.
Followers do matter for certain things. Like, as an example, TikTok specifically says you cannot co-host on TikTok Live if you don't have 1,000 followers. Like, there's certain rules that you have to hit in order to play the game and get to certain gamification levels. So there is a little bit of truth to, yes, you do sometimes need to push for followers to accomplish whatever it is you want to do next. But once you have enough followers, at that point, it doesn't matter. Like, once you've hit those marks.
Yeah, so I'm thinking, like, I think it's one of those things where if you take care of the main purpose, other things take care of itself, right? If you're producing content that resonates, you're going to get the followers. But if you're chasing followers, not focusing on the content, that's the wrong way to do it. That's how I see it anyway.
Right. Well, it's going to be hard to get followers without content anyway. It's like putting the cart before the horse. Let me ask you this. Does this level the playing field for the little guy, or does it just make competition even tougher? Or then why are so many business owners still sitting on the sidelines waiting to start?
Oh, I love this one. So yeah, I think it does both, honestly, because it does level the field because of nobody, with 0 followers can outreach an account with 100,000 if the content actually connects. If the content generates trust, has my unique perspective, and an uncopyable style, right? If I can nail out those things, that's a real opportunity. But at the same time, it also raises the bar because you can't hide behind a big number anymore. Every post has to earn it on its own every single time. And why people are sitting on the sidelines, it's fear of being bad at something in public. That's the real crux of it, right? People don't like struggling in the spotlight.
Yeah.
Right. But being bad at it publicly for a month is a lot better, is a lot cheaper than being invisible for like 5 years.
Yes.
Well, I think it's two things that you said, Anthony, I want to touch upon. It should make you liberated because it's not about the followers anymore. You got 10 followers, and if it connects, it connects. So it's not the level of success or the measure of success has changed. So can you create something that goes viral? Can you create something that hits and got a lot of like a million views? That's more important than 1 million followers nowadays. So it's something that connects, and then that should liberate more people because all right, nobody could say it like Anthony could say it. So I could go in and say my same thing with my unique perspective, and it could hit. And then if it doesn't, who would know? They're not looking at all right. Nobody's looking at how many views you got anymore. But at least the content's out there. It's still out there, and they still could discover you from that content.
Yep. Yeah, I just as an example, I mean, I don't know if you guys saw the video. So Nexa, if you qualify, they'll let you rent out some of our vacation spots that our owner has. So like one of them is a San Antonio penthouse. So I did a little mini tour around the penthouse, and then TikTok asked me like, "Do you want to boost this post?" And I'm like, "Yeah, why not?" So I clicked the button. I spent like $10 to boost it or whatever it was. It wasn't that much. It was like literally like $10. I have over 11,000 views on this thing, 654 likes. And I ended up getting like 400 more followers from this one video for $10 that TikTok posted, because apparently that was a video that resonated. And here's the funny thing. Looking back at it, I'm actually really irritated by it because I didn't realize if you watch it all the way through, the music clip that I put in there ends 2.5 minutes in, and the video's like 3.5 minutes long. And then it repeats, and it's so loud, it overpowers my voice, and you can't even hear hardly what I'm saying. And I went back and watched it because I had to do it like 2 or 3 times to get it to work right. And I'm like, how did I miss this? How did I mess this up? But it doesn't matter. It still accomplished way more than any other video I've ever made, even though it's one of my least favorite videos to watch because I'm like, I did such a terrible job with this thing. It was bad editing, and I still got the following. So I don't know. I mean, like it helped me. It was a good lesson for me to go through of like, if a video with music playing over me that you can't even hear me talk somehow still works that well, then why am I overthinking this? Right?
Perfection is the enemy of profit. I just put that on the video today, and then I put an AI blooper reel out, and that. It got to 1,000 followers quicker. I mean, 1,000 views quicker than a lot of my other videos.
Nice.
So just the blooper reel, so it doesn't matter. I'm putting out whatever I put out, and I'm gonna fine tune as it goes along. All right, well, this works here, this works there. I'm just gonna put it out.
Live A/B testing, just as you go. Yeah, always
it is what it is. Something's going to happen, So let's get to this last clip here, and let's go ahead and wrap it up. Let's see, where am I? All right, here we go. Can y'all see the screen?
Yes.
Social media era.
Okay.
Part one of the thesis, and they're all tied to AI. I think AI cracks the current value proposition of the social media platforms in their current state. So we post because people watch us, right? Whether I'm signaling that I'm single or taken, that I'm employable, we post for human receipt. If we can't verify that I'm posting for a bunch of R2D2s or actual people, that psychology of signaling starts to break. So I post, but what is the incentive? Part two, the better AI gets, especially as it transitions towards voice first, the less I'm going to want to pull out my phone, and it's going to start to break that habit that we formed of opening, swiping, watching, viewing. And I'm just going to say, Alexa, Uber, do this thing. And I'm not going to open and watch. And then the third, AI, it's a general purpose technology like the internet. And these technologies don't mean that we do the same thing just faster or more automated. We do different things.
Yes.
So I feel like we're on the beginning of something entirely new that will have threads to the social media economy, but it will be unrecognizable as going from cable to TikTok.
Couple things. This is already my favorite podcast ever. I would argue that cable and TikTok are not wildly different.
Okay.
So that's put on a shelf.
Okay.
Let's go back to the beginning.
The value prop.
The reality is it will be and, not or. So I don't believe AI bots or agents consuming content eliminates the reality that humans could also consume that content. To your point, if I see 14 million views and I know that that's actually only 300,000, that creates a new micro dynamic.
Sure. Yeah.
But if the results of what I want happen from the 300,000 people that actually saw it, I'm still going to be incentivized to do it. If I say I'm single and the only people that are trying to date me is an AI agent robot, bad.
It's possible.
But
Happens.
if it is also going to be people just drowned out metrically, well, then I'm still going to do it. The question becomes, if there is still human consumption, no matter how drowned out in an overall metric, and the actions are executed on by those humans, I don't think we walk away.
I think we're at the beginning of the end of the social media era.
Right. So my premise is this: like I said, a lot to what David said earlier. A lot of people don't like AI. It's inevitable, first of all, and why not embrace it now? Because it's not going anywhere. I don't think it's gonna, even by people protesting and stuff like that. It's not like they're gonna pack it up and forget about it. We're not gonna use this technology ever again. When has that ever happened?
Exactly.
So I think besides for as it evolves, I think with Blu-ray, and then they get Blu-ray, and then Blu-ray with the iPhone it stopped. I thought that was going to keep, don't forget I owned a video store back then. I thought it was always going to have some type of physical media, but that got replaced by streaming, and streaming media, Netflix and stuff like that. So, but technology always evolves. Now, will they have something else where we could, and I see it coming to where I'm using AI to prompt AI.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I've been doing.
and then now the next thing is going to be learn what. All right, I already got everything made out. Learn what you like, and based on what you said before, this is what here goes your post for the next week.
Yep.
And it's going to be ongoing. I think that's what so nobody knows exactly what the future looks like, but people that are willing to adapt always have an advantage.
When I about a month ago, not quite, I went out to South Dakota to the Windsor headquarters, Windsor Mortgage, and I think I was the only one from our team that was there, by the way. But we had the #1 realtor in South Dakota and the number 34 realtor, I think, in the country, that came out physically to speak with us, and she showed us her AI tech of what she's got going on. She has like 10 AI agents trained, all with different names, that all run different tasks, that all talk to each other on cross AI platforms that run her whole business. Like, the way she's gotten to this point is through AI technology. And I'm watching her explain and break down her AI tech, and I'm like, I can't even imagine the amount of work that went into building this. But keep in mind, of course, she's got a team of live people too that are all helping with this and training it too. Like it's humans and AI working together in exactly, like, she's so far ahead of the curve. I mean, she's where everything will be, I think, in 3 to 5 years for most people that embrace this. she's way ahead of the curve. So anybody that can embrace this now is just they're poised for success if you can integrate it correctly.
Hey, David, remind me to pick your brain on that, because that's exactly what I've been doing on my end, right? And to see someone doing it at such a high level, I do want to talk to you about that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right. So just to add, and let's get the question in, the last questions, is that what we were talking about earlier. I think the way people did it before, that has this 1982 headshots on there, they're gonna fall by the wayside. You know, those people, they had their run, and the run is over. I think in the next 3 to 5 years, I think you're still gonna be able to eat off your loyal customers, but I think scaling and getting new customers, especially the customers, how the customers' habits have changed, how they consume and how they shop has changed. Where they're getting their information from has changed. So a lot of stuff has changed. So I don't think coming with a 1982 strategy is going to be sustainable in 2028 and 2029 and 2030. I don't think so. I think it's totally changed, and I think you need to be future forward instead of thinking, all right, well, I'm going to door knock. Although that might work, everything works, but how long would it take me to door knock 2,400 houses?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so listen to both sides. What's the biggest mistake business owners could make over the next 5 years, assuming AI changes everything or assuming nothing changes?
I would say assuming nothing changes easily, right? So, for example, it's funny. I was looking at our interview questions, and one of them was, "What's the best business purchase you've made under $500?" And it for me, it's hands down. It was my Claude membership.
Right.
$25 a month, $20 or $40, whatever. That thing has given me the executive assistant I never had, and I know I needed. Right. For if you're not a huge producing realtor loan officer, you understand that there's a certain level of automation or how you build your systems where you need assistance. You need people help to do marketing. You need people help to do content creation, brainstorming the content, shooting the content, editing the content. There's a whole team around people that these large producers would not be able to do what they're doing without that team. Claude is now my executive assistant that has given me, because I've always had the ability to come up with good ideas. The execution is where a lot of people fall short, because you don't know what to do. What's the best step? I think a lot of people get into that mindset where they're just like, it's just so complicated, so much to think about. But if you've got an AI that's saying, hey, this is the first step, let's flesh it out, let's talk it out, you can structure things in a way that it will superpower your process, saving you money and saving you time, right? So I'm living proof. AI already changed how I run my business today. My business is in a much better place than it was a year ago. And, it's not in some hypothetical future. Like Gary Vee's take is the one I keep coming back to, though. It's not going to be AI or humans. It's going to be AI and humans. The mistake is really just picking a side instead of just paying attention.
Right.
Yeah. Another mistake that I see, coming back to one of our earlier videos as well, is we're thinking like, okay, go use AI as a plaything to go into the ether and try to find new clients. I think, or build a brand or build your followers, whatever. One of the key mistakes I think that people are making with this is using AI to do that and less about using it in your active business. How do I improve what I already have? How do I make that better? How do I get in front of my past clients, my referral partners? How do I use AI in a way that makes me more authentic, more omnipresent with everybody that I already know? So you're building the authenticity with AI as an add-on tool to help create that. Not just, hey, go create this cool AI video that goes out into the ether and you hope somebody's going to watch it. So I think understanding the purpose of the AI, like Gary talked about here, of it's not an or, it's an and. You put them together, the better you can cohesively merge the two, the better you're going to see results with.
Right. The next question is, regardless of what social media looks like in 5 years, what do you believe will never change about how people build trust, relationships, in business?
I mean, I would say the fundamentals, right? You know, my whole mission is helping people secure their own legacies, ownership. And that only works if I treat their loan like it's a piece of their family's future, not a transaction rate driven checkbox, right? That part doesn't change whether it's live streaming, AI, or whatever comes after it. People always do business with people who make them feel like more than a number, right? That you're invested in their growth and their success. It doesn't matter what platform you use to deliver that message, but as long as that's on brand, that's the message, you'll be fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, even something super simple like funny enough, today a TikTok creator came in my feed and they said, hey, try this new feature that just came out of like the algorithm's working for you. Try doing this. And I'm like, okay, sure. So I literally created a one question: what's the minimum down payment you need to buy a house? And I just created the question with a music thing. The algorithm did the whole thing for me. I just typed in the thing and then it created it for me and sent it. I've already got like 40 comments, hundreds of views, 40 something comments, but I'm engaging with every single person up to this right now. And I'm going to go back after we're done here and reply to everybody else. But one of the things I'm trying to do here is reply to everybody authentically of thank you so much for the perspective. Thank you for the comment, even if the answer is completely wrong. Like, thank you for giving me the feedback, because this is why I posted this. I want to make sure that we're having this dialogue and this connection of there's a lot of people that just don't know what that is. What is the answer? What is the answer? Nobody really knows. And even the professionals, so-called professionals, don't know the answer sometimes because they're used to whatever, they're looking at this through the lens of whatever bank or institution that they're with, and they don't understand what's out there. So engaging with this, again, building that rapport, coming to the question here again of building trust, building the relationship. Like, thanks for the question. You know, that's a good point, actually. Like, I like that you shared that. And then engaging with the person organically, even though, yeah, technically the AI algorithm did the whole thing for me, I'm still engaging and I'm creating conversations out of it. So I'm glad I got prompted to do this today in advance of this podcast here so that I can get better at this, because I think I need to do more of that. I need to put those kind of questions out there to just create the engagement and have those real conversations with real people.
All right. So what I believe that will never change about how people build trust, relationships, in business is that people will always do a couple things. They always will chase shiny objects. They always will think the bigger the actual motion, the better the product is. And then people always is consensus. People will always want to do what other people are doing. So if other people are doing business with you, then that makes them want to do business with you. So I think that's never going to change. People, that's people's. It's innately in people. Also, is reciprocity. If you give them something, what we talked about last week, they feel obligated to do something for you. So if I entertain them, if I educate them, if I'm available to them certain things, they will feel obligated to actually do business with me from there. So I think that's the thing that will never change as far as people building trust. People always want to do what everybody else wants to do. The last statement, you know, the biggest risk isn't AI. It isn't social media. It isn't technology. The biggest risk is believing that the world is going to slow down and wait for you to catch up. It won't. Ownership means staying curious enough to keep learning, humble enough to keep changing, and courageous enough to act before you feel completely ready. So even though that it looks like a whirlpool that that you might get caught up in, you got to jump in. You got to jump in there and get going, regardless of what. and then pull out the feelers. Be courageous enough. I'm gonna still put out those feelers, you know, and see what's happening because it's working, you know. So and then fine tune what works and cut what doesn't work, especially if it's cost effective, you know. So before I spent thousands of dollars on this and got less results, you know, of actually shooting, editing, doing all this stuff and post it, same result. If I could do it for free or pennies, why not? So that's the thing. It's all of the above. It's all about the above. Trying something and actually creating your systems around what works. If you don't try, you'll never know. You know, you'll just constantly be watching it. And last question before we get out there, I've watched all the clips. What's one thing you're taking away from this episode, Anthony?
I think that ownership isn't a one-time decision, right? It's a daily one.
Right.
Staying curious, staying humble enough to change, acting before I feel like I'm ready. And that's not really no advice for me, right? That's the whole reason I think this show is called what it's called. If there's one thing I'm walking away with, it's, you know, that the next 12 months is going to belong to whoever's willing to look a little unpolished in the public eye at first.
Right.
Yeah.
David,
my takeaway is get out of your own way, myself included, talking to myself, get out of your own way, stop overthinking this thing, and just do what we know works. We see other people doing it, and it's working for them. Why can't it work for you? And the crazy thing is, there are people that are terrible at this, that are still getting 100 times the amount of views that you're getting on your stuff, whoever's watching this, because they're doing it consistently and they're authentic and people like it and they watch it. So just go, don't overthink it. Talking to myself again, don't do that. Just go, put the content out there. And I think, honestly, whoever makes the most content wins. Just keep putting it out there. The more you have, the more at-bats, the better your batting average is going to be, the better chances you have of success of people following you, liking it, commenting on it. And then eventually that converts into business.
Right. And like I said, I'm not the best at it. I'm not the textbook. I'm not the hot blonde that gets 1,000 likes just for saying hi on camera or not even saying anything at all. So I don't get a lot of traction, but I'm consistent, and consistency wins. Like, you know, it's paying off. It translates to loans because, like I said, I don't think I've met a person in person, somebody in person that I closed a loan all this year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's coming from out there. It's coming from the presence. You know, so and I've only been to a few events this year. You know, so it's like, you know, I meet some, and those are not the realtors that I've seen. It come off of Facebook. It come off of this. You know, so it's part of the business. This is now. You can't deny it. Will people still eat the next couple of years off the old school way? Possibly, but I think the plate's going to get smaller and smaller.
Mm-hmm.
Brandon, I think you just stand up and do one of these, and I think you'll have it.
I'm not sure what that means. You know what I'm saying? With that said,
you're saying you're not a hot blonde. You can't. Yeah, I'm just do one of these and like just do like a dance or something, and then like right. You know, all of a sudden people are like, oh yeah, I like the way he dances. He's like, he's cool. He's got the rhythm.
Well, they got the cheat code. Like I said, they don't have to do much in order to garner the same attention. You know, so yeah. I mean, but my point is that I don't get that type of attention, but I manufacture attention, you know. So with that being said, we'll see you next week.
Thank you, everybody.
Take ownership. Don't make excuses. Don't blame any other person or any other thing. Get control of your ego. Take ownership of everything in your world, the good and the bad. Take ownership of your mistakes Take ownership of your shortfalls, take ownership of your problems, and then take ownership of the solutions that will get those problems solved. And when a team takes ownership of its problems, the problems get solved. And that is true on the battlefield, it is true in business, and it is true in life.